Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. I know it's been a while, I've been so busy, but I wanted to get on today and try to make something really quick so that you guys knew that I had not forgotten about you. I'm always thinking about different things that I can crochet and videos that I can make, but the problem for me is just finding the time. I've gotten tons of comments from you guys complimenting my teaching style, saying that I'm very thorough and I teach in a fun, very easy to learn way, so thank you. And I also get a lot of compliments on my voice. I guess I have a soothing voice, so thank you for that as well. In today's video, I'm going to be recreating this tam. I never made a video showing how to make this tam, and I have a friend who really loves this tam and wants one. She doesn't have locks, so it's not going to be as big as this one, but yeah, pretty much I'm going to recreate this tam, and I thought this would be a good video to make to show you guys because it's definitely one of my favorite tams as well, and you guys will probably enjoy it. Things you will need are 3 different colors. You don't have to use these colors, but I'm using the maize, the white, and the blue yarn. So 3 skeins, okay? 3 colors. You will not use close to the entire skein of each of those colors, but you need 3 skeins because you need 3 different colors. Other things you will need include a pair of scissors. Obviously, you're always going to need scissors. You're going to need a darning, weaving, tapestry needle. You're always going to need that. And for today's project, I'm going to be using a size J 6mm, and that is US. So before you guys come into the comments and ask what size hook, it's size J 6mm US. And if you're asking that question in the comments, that means that you didn't watch the entire video. You didn't watch this section of the video because I clearly say it. So yeah, size J 6mm US crochet hook. Also, the yarn that I'm using is a medium 4 yarn. Now, I get a whole bunch of questions where people ask, can I use larger yarn, or can I use a different size yarn? Of course, you can use whatever you want, and then obviously you'll need to change the size hook that you use. But what you should know is that the measurements are going to be off, meaning if you use a larger yarn, then you're gonna have to crochet fewer rounds to get the size. Whereas since I'm using a smaller yarn, medium 4, then I have to do more rounds to get a certain length or width, okay? So for all the people that always ask, will this work for, well, I'm not crocheting this tam using those other things, right? So it's hard for me to say, but of course you can always experiment, and that's part of the whole creative process. Experiment and adapt. So experiment with different sizes, different crochet hooks, and of course your own tension will play a part in that as well. And then adjust your number of rows and rounds and things like that to make it fit the head of the person that you're making it for. Alright, sorry, that was a little mini rant. I'm not upset, but I get tons of those questions, and I'm like, how am I supposed to know if it's going to work with... I didn't use that yarn in this video, so I have no clue. In theory, it can work, but in terms of me knowing, okay, crochet this many rounds instead of how many rounds I told you to do, I don't know that because I didn't crochet with that yarn. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, so I'm going to start with the yellow yarn. I'm going to make a slip knot, twist exchange, pull that over, pull this one over that one and off your finger while lifting up on the one that's still on your finger, like that. Insert your crochet hook in. Alright, and now I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to be making double crochets, and I'm going to crochet 14 double crochets into that very first chain that I made right there. So I'm going to yarn over, go back into that first chain. I like to get 2 little loops. You can get 1 like that, but I like to get 2 like that. Yarn over, pull through to the front. You're going to have 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go back into that same first chain, and just repeat the process. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Alright, so let's make another one back in that first chain. yarn over, pull through to the front. Okay, this is the fourth one. This is the fifth one. Still going in that first chain. And this is the sixth one. Okay, so I have six double crochets that I've crocheted into that first chain. If I count this chain 3, then I have 7 stitches. So here are the 6 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you can count the tops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this chain 3 will count as the 7th stitch. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the blue. So I'm going to grab my blue, I'm going to hook it on like that, okay, just pull through. Now I'm going to pull tightly on that maze, okay, and then I'm going to tie a knot between the tail of the blue and the maze. 1, and now I'm going to tie a second knot. 2. Alright, so now I'm going to make some more double crochets, but using the blue. So right now I have a total of 6 double crochets plus that chain 3, which is counting as a double crochet. So I have 7 stitches total. I want a total of 15, so I need to make 8 more stitches. Okay, so I'm going to crochet 8 more double crochets into that chain 1, that first chain. So just go in there and make your double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 7 stitches of the yellow. When I count that chain 3, I just made 7 double crochets in the blue, but remember I want a total of 15 stitches for this round, so I'm going to crochet one more, an 8th double crochet in the blue like that. Okay, and that's how we get the half and half color. This maze is still attached over here, and I'm going to pick it up once I get back around there. Okay, alright, so at this point I'm going to slip stitch into the 1, 2, the second chain up. Okay, this is that chain 3 that was left by putting our first double crochet in that first chain. Remember at the beginning I chained 4, and then I put my first double crochet, and actually all the double crochets in that first chain, right? So what was left from that chain 4 was this chain 3 right here. So I'm going to now slip stitch into the second chain up, 1, 2, just go in there, and then yarn over and pull all the way through like that. Now I'm going to chain 3, 2, 3. That was confusing. So I slip stitched into the second chain up, and then I chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, now I'm on round 2. So round 1, which I just completed, has 15 stitches. Round 2 will have 30 stitches because I'm going to put 2 stitches into every stitch. This chain 3 right here gets that chain 3, that's 1 stitch, but remember every stitch is supposed to get 2 stitches now. So I'm going to go back into there, that same second chain up where I slip stitch, and I'm going to put a double crochet to make the second stitch in there. Okay, so now that chain 3 has those 2 stitches. Now I can move over to this double crochet there, and I'm going to put 2 double crochets into that stitch. So 1, 2. Okay, so that double crochet has those 2 double crochets. And you might be wondering, well, when are you going to switch to the yellow? So I'm going to crochet with the blue into all the yellow stitches below, and then once I get to the blue stitches around here, that's when I'm going to start using the maize or yellow color. So this is an easy round. Every stitch gets 2 stitches. Okay, so next stitch, slice the icing off the top of the cake, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, back in there to put another double crochet. Okay, next stitch, that's 1 double crochet, back in there for a second double crochet, yarn over, that's 1 double crochet, yarn over, back in there for a second double crochet. Okay, and then we're at our last yellow stitch or maze stitch, yarn over, slice the icing. Okay, make your double crochet, yarn over, back in there for a second double crochet. Okay, so that's what I have so far. But now my next stitch is a blue stitch, so that means I need to be working with maize or with the yellow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over like that, pull through like that. I'm going to pull very tight on that blue. Okay, and I'm going to leave it attached. I'm not going to cut my yarn. Okay, and now I'm going to yarn over and go into the top of the blue stitch, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go back in there, because every stitch is still getting 2 stitches. Okay, now if you see that start to happen, like that blue loop is getting bigger, just pull on it really tightly like that. Okay, alright, and now I'm just going to continue working with the maze, so every stitch is still getting 2 stitches. Okay, next stitch, 1, next stitch, same stitch, 2, next stitch, 1, same stitch, 2. Okay, next stitch, 1, same stitch, 2, next stitch, 1, same stitch for 2, next stitch, 1, same stitch, back in there for 2, next stitch, which is the last stitch, 1, same stitch for 2. Okay, and that's what we have so far. Alright, once again, now we're at this chain 3, so 1, 2, we're going to slip stitch into the second chain up, yarn over, pull all the way through. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I didn't mess up that time, I didn't say chain 2. Alright, so this round, and with this round, you're going to, the pattern will be not 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, which means you're putting 2 stitches in every stitch around, but it's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so this chain 3 right there, that blue, right, has the 1. That chain 3 counts as 1. So now, because the pattern is 1, 2, we got the 1, so now we can move to the next stitch, and we're going to put 2 double crochets into that next stitch. So 1, back in there for 2. And you guys, if I'm moving too fast, don't forget you can slow this down on YouTube. Play it at a slower speed. Next stitch we'll get 1, next stitch we'll get 2. Okay, like that. Okay, so you see the pattern 1, 2, 1, 2. So I've only crocheted in 4 stitches. This chain right there, the blue, gets that 1, and then the next stitch gets 2. The next stitch gets 1. The next stitch gets 2. Okay, those 4 stitches I crocheted into. Alright, continuing on. 1, next stitch gets 1, the next one gets 2. So yarn over, back into that same stitch for 2. Next stitch gets 1, next stitch gets 2, back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1, next stitch gets 2, yarn over, back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1, next stitch gets 2, back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1, next stitch gets 2, which is the final blue stitch, back in there for 2. Alright, and now you see we're at the maze stitches, so guess what, it's time to switch colors again. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the blue, yarn over, pull through, we're going to pull on this maze so that loop disappears. It gets really small where you can barely see it. Okay, like that. And now it looks like there's no maze, right? It's just a blue loop there. And continue with the pattern. Well, we ended on the 2, so the next stitch will get 1, like that, and then the next stitch will get 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1. Next stitch gets 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1. Next stitch gets 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1. Next stitch gets 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1. Next stitch gets 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1. Next stitch gets 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1. Next stitch gets 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1. Next stitch gets 2, and this is the last stitch. Back in there for 2. Okay, so you always want to end on the 2. Okay, so isn't she pretty? Yeah, she looks very, very pretty. Okay, so as you guys can see, if you compare, we are creating that same pattern. Okay. All right. So there are still maze stitches, so we want to continue working with the blue. We're going to slip stitch into the 1, 2, second chain up. Okay, and now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This time the pattern will be 1, 1, 2. Okay, so this maze chain 3 has the 1 because that chain 3 right there counts as the 1. So the next stitch will get 1, double crochet. And remember, I said the pattern for this round is 1, 1, 2, and so the next stitch will get the 2. Back in there for 2. Okay, next stitch 1, next stitch 1, next stitch 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch 1, next stitch 1, next stitch 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch 1, next stitch 1, next stitch 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch 1, next stitch 1, next stitch 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch 1, next stitch 1, next stitch 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch 1, next stitch 1, last yellow stitch 2. Back in there for 2. Okay, so that's what we have. Now we're going to grab our maze, yarn over, pull through, pull on the blue, and put it behind. Alright, and now we're going to continue with the pattern. We ended on the 2, so the next stitch will get 1. Next stitch, also 1. Next stitch, 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch, 1. Next stitch, 1. Next stitch, 2. Back in there for 2. Okay, so continue crocheting in that manner until we get around to the end of this round. By the way, this is round 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're on round 4 right now. Okay, and you should end on the 2, meaning that last blue stitch right there should get 2 maze stitches. I will see you there. Alright, so I am back around and I did end on the 2. So slip stitch into the 1, 2, second chain up. Alright, so this round, and this is going to be my final round working with two colors for a while. I'm going to, the pattern will be 1, 1, 1, 2. So 3 1s and then a 2. So this chain 3 in the blue needs a 1, and that's going to be accomplished by this chain 3. Okay, so that blue there has its 1 with the chain 3. Alright, so the next stitch will get 1, and I'm still working with the maze because I'm working into blue stitches, and then for the third one, put it into the next stitch. So those are my 3 1s, and now the next stitch will get 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch 1, next stitch 1, next stitch 1, next stitch 2. Back in there for 2. Or you can say, you can count 1, next stitch, 2, next stitch, 3, and then the next stitch is going to get 2. Back in there for 2. Okay, so you'll figure out how you want to count it. Whatever way will help you best keep count, an accurate count. I go back and forth depending on how I'm feeling. So 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 2, back in there for 2. Next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 2, back in there for 2. Next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 2, back in there for 2. Next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1, final blue stitch, 2, back in there for 2. Notice how I ended on the 2. Okay, now it's time to switch the yarn color. So now I'm gonna grab the blue, yarn over, pull through, pull on the maze and put it to the back and out of the way. I ended on the 2, so I just continue. Next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 2, back in there for 2. Okay, so you'll just continue on like that, and I'll meet you right there. Alright, I am back around. I've ended on the 2. Okay, so I'm going to slip stitch into the 1, 2, second chain up, like that. And now I'm going to cut this blue because I'm done with it for a while. And I'm going to bring in this white. Okay, so I'm just going to loop it like that and get it on the hook, pull through. Okay, I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to pull on the blue so that that loop disappears like that. Okay, and now I'm going to tie a couple of knots. So 1 nice and tight, and then 2 even tighter. Alright, and now I'm going to chain 3 with the white. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So before we get started with this, you might be wondering, well, what about this yellow over here that's still connected? How are we gonna, secure that? No problem, you guys. We have tails. So just cut the yellow or the maze, and then you can just grab whatever other tail you want, and then just tie a couple of knots. Now make sure you don't pull it like that, right? Because you don't want your tam or hat to be distorted. So just, nice and loose wherever they meet, and then tie a couple of knots. So it's like that, right? I'm not pulling from anywhere, But then when it comes to making that second knot, that's when I can get tight, right? Okay. And then I can even tie a third one if I want to be extra safe. Okay. And then you can cut these tails down if you want, like that. And it's not going to come undone. And now the only yarn that is attached to this hat is the white. Alright, we're going to crochet over this blue tail. You guys know that I like to crochet over tails when I can, so I don't have to weave them in later. So, alright, so now we are on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th round, and this will be our first non-increase round. Okay, so by non-increase, that means that every stitch will only get one stitch. So this chain 3 in the maze has that one stitch, the chain 3 in the white. That means this next stitch will also get one stitch. It's going to get a double crochet. I'm going to lay this blue on top so I can crochet over it. Slice the icing off the top of the cake. Put the blue there. Yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2. Next stitch, 1. Still crocheting over the blue. 1. 1. So no 2s this round, just 1. Next stitch, 1. Okay, and don't worry if it seems to, show through. You can always cut it down or, pull it to the back like that later. Okay. All right, so just continue putting 1 double crochet in every stitch around, and I will meet you there. Okay, so I've made it back around. I'm going to slip stitch into the second chain up, as I've been doing all along. 1, 2. Okay, chain 3, and I want you to crochet 4 more rounds just like this one. Okay, so that means you're going to have a total of 5 non-increase rounds in the white. This is the first one, so crochet 4 more. I will meet you once I get all 5 of my rounds crocheted. I will see you there. So I've completed all 5 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the white. And I'm going to slip stitch in the second chain up. 1, 2, and then like that. Okay, so now I'm going to have a little fun. I'm going to return to this half and half pattern, but since this side is maize, I'm going to start with the blue, and then I'm going to go to the halfway point, and then I'm going to switch to the maize. Okay, so this half will be blue, this half will be maize. So I'm going to grab my blue yarn, hook it on, pull through, and then I'm going to pull on the white to tighten it so that that loop disappears, and I'm going to tie a couple of knots. I'm going to leave the white yarn attached to the hat because I'm not done with it. Okay, so just kind of put it out of the way, work with the blue. So we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm still only putting 1 double crochet into each stitch. Okay, I'm going to continue doing this until I get to the halfway point, at which point I am going to start with the maize yarn. Okay, I will see you there. Alright, so as you can see, I've made it to the halfway point. This blue is about to start down there, so I'm going to switch now to the maize, and I'm going to do it just like I did before. I'm going to hook the maize on, okay, pull on the blue to make that loop disappear, and then I'm going to tie a couple of knots. Okay, and then I'm just going to continue with the maize. I'm going to also leave the blue attached. Okay, so I'll just put it in the back out of the way, and I will start to make my double crochets with the maize. 1 double crochet into every stitch around. Okay, I will meet you once we get to the end of this round. So as you can see, I've made it back around and back to the blue, and I am going to now switch to the white, which you remember is still attached. Okay, but first I'm going to slip stitch to the second chain up to complete this round. 1, 2, slip stitch, pull on it. Okay, and now I'm going to take the white, and you guys might need to take some time to kind of unwind your yarn so that it's not getting tangled up on you. But once you get it situated the way you want, yarn over, pull through, and then pull on the yellow. Okay, like that. And now we're going to chain 3 with the white. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And if that yellow becomes loose, just tug on it. Okay, so now we're going to be working with the white. So we can put the blue and the yellow to the back out of the way, and we're still only putting 1 double crochet in each stitch. Okay, so that chain 3 is for that blue chain 3. Next stitch gets a white, and every stitch will just get 1 double crochet. Okay, all the way around. So I will meet you once I get back to there. So I've made it back around. I'm going to slip stitch into the 1, 2 second chain up, and now this is going to be a decrease round. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and the pattern will be 3 ones and then a decrease over the next 2. So this is the first one, the next stitch is the second one, the next stitch is the third one, and over these next 2 we're going to decrease. Okay, so yarn over like that, and yarn over, go through 2. Okay, yarn over, go into the next one, yarn over, go through 2, 3 remaining, yarn over, go through all 3. I realize that was fast, and for some of you this is probably your first time ever seeing a decrease, so let me do it a little bit slower. So 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next one, 2, 1 double crochet in the next one, that's 3, so that's the pattern, 1, 2, 3, and now decrease over the next 2. So the way you decrease over these 2 is you yarn over, slice the icing, yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. We will not complete this double crochet yet, but instead we yarn over, enter the next stitch as if though we're about to make a double crochet, because we are. Pull through to the front, and now you have 4 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, and now that's going to leave you with 3 loops, yarn over, and go through all 3. Okay, then the pattern repeats. 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1. Now it's time to decrease again over these next 2 stitches. So yarn over, go in, make your double crochet, going through the first 2 loops, but we don't complete it yet. Nope, we yarn over and we start to make the next double crochet in the next stitch. Have 4 loops, yarn over, go through the first 2. Okay, and now all 3 loops we'll yarn over and go through them. Okay, continue in this fashion, and I will meet you back around there. See you there. Alright, I'm almost done. I've done my 3 ones, 1, 2, 3, and now for these last 2 stitches, I'll decrease over them the way I just showed you. 3 loops left, now go through everything. Okay, slip stitch into the second chain up. Alright, we're going to do another decrease round. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This time the pattern will be 1, 1, and then decrease over the next 2. So this is the first one. Next stitch will get a 1 double crochet, and then the next 2 stitches, those are the ones we're going to decrease over. So yarn over, enter, yarn over, go through 2, 2 loops remain, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the front, 4 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 3 loops, yarn over, go through everything. Okay, one more time. 1 regular double crochet, next stitch, 1 regular double crochet, and now it's time to decrease. Yarn over, and the next stitch, yarn over, go through 2. Don't complete the double crochet. Instead, yarn over, enter the next stitch, yarn over, pull through to the front, 4 loops, yarn over, go through the first 2. That leaves 3 loops, yarn over one more time, and complete. Alright, continue in that fashion with the 1, 1, 2 pattern, and I will meet you once we get back around. See you there. So I've made it back around, and my last 2 stitches I ended on the decrease. I decreased over the last 2 stitches. That's another way to say it. So I'm going to slip stitch into the 1, 2, second chain up. Alright, and now I'm going to switch to the maze because I want the maze now on this side. The blue is there, now I want the maze. So I'm going to find my maze, and you know what, I can actually leave the white on because I'm going to go back to it. Alright, the maze is way down here, so give yourself enough room for it to stretch up here. You guys can cut it and reattach it, but I didn't want to. Okay, so yarn over and pull through like that, and then pull on the white so that that loop disappears. Alright, now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pull on the white again, make sure that loop disappears. Alright, and now I'm just going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch around. So that maze, that's the 1 stitch for that chain 3 in the white, and now this next one we'll get a double crochet and maze, as will the next one. So this is a non-decrease, non-increase round. It's just 1 double crochet in every stitch. Okay, continue in this fashion until we get to the halfway point, at which point we're going to switch to that blue to go over there, to go from there and then back around to here. Okay, I will see you there. So as you can see, I've made it to the halfway point now, and now the maze is down there, so I want the blue up here. So I'm going to switch to the blue, and I'm going to first go back, and just like with the maze, make sure you give yourself enough slack to get up here without tugging on the hat, right? So yarn over and pull it through, because we're going to switch to the blue now. Pull on the maze, okay, and pull on the blue, pull on the maze. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my maze yarn because I'm going to use it later, but it'll be in the way right now. Okay, and now I'm going to tie a knot between the maze and the blue. Before I do, I just want to make sure it's not tugging on the hat itself. That line should be flat against the hat. Okay, tie a couple of knots. Alright, and now I'm just going to continue on around, putting 1 double crochet in every stitch below, all the way around like that. Okay, so I will see you once I get back around there. So I've made it back around. I'm going to slip stitch into the second chain up, 1, 2, go into that yellow, and then yarn over and pull all the way through like that. Okay, now I'm going to cut my blue, and I'm going to pull in the white that's still attached like that. Tug on the blue so that loop disappears, and then I'm going to tie a couple of knots. 1 and 2. Now I'm going to chain 3 with the white, because that's the yarn that I'm currently working with now. 1, 2, 3. Alright, and I am going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch. This chain 3 counts for that stitch, so lay this blue on top because I'm going to crochet over it while I'm making these double crochets. And you guys have seen this a million times now. At this point, just 1 double crochet in every stitch around. Okay, and I'm crocheting over that blue tail so I don't have to weave it in later, because I hate weaving in tails. Like one of my least favorite things to do in crocheting. Okay, so continue putting 1 stitch in every stitch below, and I'll meet you once we get back there. See you there. Alright, I've made it back around. Slip stitch into the second chain up, 1, 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to do some front and back posts. Okay, so let's start with the front post. Yarn over from the front, go to the back, back out to the front, just on the other side of the stitch, yarn over, pull through, and make your front post double crochet. The next stitch, we'll do a back post. Yarn over from the back, come around to the front, on the other side, go back out to the back, yarn over, pull through, and make your double crochet. Now front post, from the front to the back, back out to the front, yarn over, pull through, finish your double crochet, yarn over, back post, double crochet from the back, come out to the front, go back out to the back, just on the other side, yarn over, and pull through 3 loops, complete your double crochet like that. Okay, continue with this alternating front post, back post, and I'll meet you once we get back around there. See you there. Alright, so I'm back around. We're going to slip stitch into the second chain up, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and now we're going to match what we did in the previous round. So here I can tell that's in the front, and I remember I started with the front post double crochet, so that's what I'm going to do again. I'm going to put a front post double crochet in it. Yarn over from the front to the back, back out to the front, yarn over, pull through, and complete your double crochet. The next stitch is the back post, and you can tell it's the back post because it's in the back. So yarn over, go from the back out to the front, back out to the back, yarn over, and pull through, and complete your double crochet. Front post, back post, from the back, come out to the front, just on the other side of the stitch, go back out to the back, yarn over, and pull that through like that. 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Okay, so continue matching the stitches, front post with front post, back post with back post, and I'll meet you there. So I'm back around. Here's that chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch into the 1, 2, second chain up. Alright, I'm going to yarn over, chain 1, cut my yarn, fasten off. Okay, so now I want to do one more round, but I'm going to do it with the reverse single crochet. Okay, by the way, with this tail, I'm going to cut it down first like that, but I always like to pull the tail in. You can use a smaller crochet hook to easily get through the stitches. Just kind of go in to a place below, yarn over, pull through. Okay, and then before you finish this, you'll yarn over again and chain 1 like that, and then it'll make the tail tend towards the inside. This always serves as my little tag. Okay, so yes, I want to do a round of reverse single crochets, and I still want to alternate with this color. So that is to say, because I use blue here, I'm going to use maize over here. Because I use maize here, I want blue going that way. For those of you who don't know, when doing the reverse single crochet, you're crocheting in the opposite direction. So instead of going from right to left, we're going to be going from left to right. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to start with the maize because I want to go over the blue stitches here. So I want it to alternate. And I'm just going to go right in there where I slip stitched. I'm going to hook that on, pull it through like that. And then I'm going to chain 2. Okay. Alright, so now with the reverse single crochet, you just go into the previous stitch, okay, and go onto the top of it, yarn over, pull through, keep it nice and loose, 2 loops, yarn over, go through 2. Next stitch, go to the top, keep it loose, yarn over, go through 2. Next stitch, go to the top like that, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops, yarn over, go through 2. Next stitch, there's the top. See how I'm kind of turning my crochet hook backwards to go in, pull through, 2 loops, and it's making that nice border, okay, that nice edge. So with single crochet, you don't yarn over first, you just enter the stitch and then you yarn over. You're left with 2 loops and you yarn over, go through 2. Okay, So continue in this fashion, and I'll meet you once it's time to switch to the blue. See you there. So you can see I'm right at the point where I should be crocheting with the blue. So I'm going to bring in that blue yarn, hook it onto the crochet hook, like that, pull it through. I'm going to pull on the maize yarn. Alright. And I'm going to cut the maize yarn because I am done with it for good now. Alright, and then I'm going to tie a couple of knots. 1, 2. Okay, and we will have to weave those in. Alright, and then I just continue. So actually we could probably crochet over them, but that might be a little bit too complicated to explain for you guys, so yeah, I won't do it. Alright, so let's continue. Here's the next one. Slip stitch in there. Well, not slip stitch, but slice the icing off the top of the cake. Yarn over, pull through to the front. 2 loops, yarn over, go through 2. And just continue on with what you were doing with the maize. You see? And like there's this, without that tail showing, it's a seamless transition from maize to blue. Alright? Continue in that manner, and I'll meet you once we get back around there. See you there. Alright, and I'm going to make one more reverse single crochet right in that same place where I slip stitched in that second chain up, just to fully connect it. Okay, like that. Okay, now I'm going to chain 1, cut my yarn again. Alright, fasten off, and then you see this little tail here. I'm going to tie a couple of knots between the maize there and the blue there, just to make sure that they don't come undone. I think I tied 3, and then I'll cut this down like that. Okay, and then this is my tail, which will serve as the tag. Okay, and this is my hat. Well, it's not mine, it's my friend. She's gonna love this. Yes, it's not. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can actually see it. That would be helpful, right? That would help a lot. I really like it though. I mean, I really like the pattern. This obviously, you know, it goes without saying, it's just amazing, right? But then to continue on further down the length of the hat with alternating even to the very border, you know, it's just really nice. And I did the, you know, the alternating between the front and back post to give it a little bit of stretch there so it fits comfortably around the head. And then this nice border, so you can have something really nice to kind of hold on to, you know. So yeah, I think she is going to love this. So you can weave in those tails with your darning weaving tapestry needle. Okay, and yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video, but you know I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, happy crocheting.